Okay, our last question, and we haven't had one in a while on special needs trust, but it says, does money in a special needs trust get paid back to the government? It's a great question. So let's define some terms. So a trust is just like a container or a box. I usually have a little treasure chest here, but I'm actually in my home office right now. So just if you can picture is like a little box here, and we put stuff in it. Well, what do we put in it? Well, we might put in money, might put in a house, stocks, investments, whatever it may be. Well, what do we mean by special needs? It's also called supplemental needs. And here's the basic idea. If I am getting government benefits, maybe I'm on Medicaid, maybe I'm on SSI, and we're not talking about SSDI, the Social Security Disability Insurance. So that's because I've worked and I've paid into the system and now I'm disabled. We're not talking about that. But maybe I've never worked. Maybe I was born with a disability. And so I don't have any income that I've paid into the government. Well, then I can get this thing called SSI, Supplemental Security Income. But that is means tested, which just means they look at my assets and they look at my income also. So when we're talking about a special needs, supplemental needs trust, we mean we're putting money into this box, into this trust to benefit me, but I don't want to lose my government benefits. But see, it's going to be if, I'm not getting into all the details, but let's just say the test is if I have more than $2,000 in assets, but I want to put $100,000 into this trust. Well, how does that work? Well, the government says, okay, we'll let you put it in this trust as long as that money is going to the person that needs help in a certain way. So it's not to replace your Medicaid or other government benefits. It's to supplement them. Okay, well, what happens? I'm getting all this money from Medicaid or from SSI. Do I have to pay that back? Well, it depends. When we look at that trust that we've created and money goes into it, we say, all right, that money that went into it, where did that come from? If it was my money, I was entitled to it, and I put my own money in there, then yes, it's going to have to be paid back, which makes sense because that was my money and I would have been disqualified if it was sitting in my wallet or my bank account. So the government says, okay, look, John, you can put that into a trust and we won't count that against you. But you know what? When you die, we're going to have our hand out saying we want to be paid back. That's fair. But what if so we got the trust, we got money in it. What if that money came from a parent or somebody else? In other words, not from me. Well, see, that was their money. So it makes sense when that goes into the special needs trust, again, assuming we're following all the rules and there are exceptions and all that type of stuff, but just general big picture, somebody else's money goes into the trust. Well, when I die, that money does not have to go back to the government because it was never my money in the first place. You see, it wasn't a lawsuit that I filed that I'm getting the money on, or it wasn't just I happen to have 200 grand in the bank and I become disabled and I get on government benefits. Well, that's my money. So if I'm going to sort of shield that money by putting it in a special needs trust to supplement my needs, well, then the government gets it back. But if it was never my money and I've got maybe it's a family member, whoever it is putting money into this trust, then the government doesn't get that money back again, assuming I follow all the rules. So it can get a little complicated with special needs trust. And sometimes you'll hear them called a first party trust or a third party. So typically what people mean by that is first party is me. So it was my money. And the most common scenario is, it's very sad when this happens, but maybe there's a young person that's involved in just a horrible wreck and they're in a nursing home afterwards, or they'll never work again. And so they're getting government benefits, but then it comes time to settle that lawsuit against the trucking company or whoever injured them, and it's $1 million. Well, that's going to kick them off the government benefits. Now, sometimes we're okay with that. We say, you know what, that's better to do it that way. But if we don't want to lose those government benefits, then we need to make sure that that's going into the right type of trust to protect it. So hope that these have been helpful. Again, just as a reminder, we just covered, does money in special needs trust get paid back to the government? It depends on what kind of trust it is. How does a will affect joint assets? Well, it really doesn't. Because remember, a will is only things in my name. And then how does a VA pension help pay for assisted living? It's really designed to cover that gap. Here's the cost. Here's our income. We're short money. That's when that VA pension can really, really be helpful. So I hope that this video has been helpful to you. Feel free to leave us a comment or ask any questions that you have. Again, you can do that below this video. You can do it on our website, alabamaelderlawyer.com, or you can give us a call, 205-879-2447. And definitely send us more questions, and we will see you next week. Okay, have a good one. Bye-bye.